Pretty darn good day for November in Cleveland, wouldn't you say? 65 degrees, a little humidity. The wind will be the biggest issue, but we're ready to play some football. Ron Pitts, along with my partner Jim Mora, who is safely out of the dog pound. Got a little present for me there, huh?
You know, I didn't know if I was going to make it out alive, but the fellas in the pound wanted me to give you this bone right here.
Thank you very much. I'll covet this. Hey, we talk about these two quarterbacks, Colton McCoy, Sam Bradford. Now they had the Red River rivalry in college, Oklahoma, Texas. Well, this is the first time back with that rivalry on the NFL stage. And, you know, I think one thing they're finding out at this level, wins aren't as easy to come by as they were back in college.
Well, you're not kidding. And these are two exciting young quarterbacks that I think it's fun to keep your eye on. And they're struggling. Hey, they're young. They're early in their career, but they're both very good players. They're both used to winning. They don't handle losing real well. You know, when you talk to them before the game in our production meetings, neither of them were in a good mood. You know, they said, we want to win. But both of them have the skill sets that you need to be successful at this level. They just need to play more games.
Let's go down to the third member of our crew standing by on the sideline, Drea Avent.
Hi, Ron. Well, not only are Sam Bradford and Colt McCoy two of the most promising young quarterbacks in the NFL, they're also really good friends. It actually started in college with Colt at UT and Sam at OU, the Red River rivalry and all the pageantry with that. And Colt says the best thing about Sam is that they're both down to earth. They like to fish and golf in the off season, and plus both of their moms are PE teachers, so that's also something they have in common. And as they progress to the NFL, you had it last year, so they talk about stuff like that. They want this rivalry to grow, and Ron, it looks like this is a rivalry that fans could look forward to for years to come, guys.
Absolutely, Drea. Thank you very much. You know, you're right. You going back to something you said, that Sam Bradford was not in a good mood when he came in the meeting last night. He's also struggling with that ankle injury. He's got quite a contraption on his left ankle, but clearly two guys that have done a lot of winning that want to get off to good starts here today, and there is arguably the best return man, kickoff return man in the history of the NFL with 8 total. Look for him to get involved early in this one from a special team standpoint.
Yeah, if you're the St. Louis Rams and you lost last week on a punt return, the last thing you want to see is Josh Cribbs back there on a kickoff return to start the game.
Right.
This is the very next play after the play that they got beat on last week. So I know there's a special teams coach down there somewhere with his heart beating out of his chest.
St. Louis won the toss, but they deferred. They will give the ball to the Browns. One of those let's go on defense on the road decisions. Josh Brown pounds it deep and takes Cribbs out of the game immediately. It'll be a touchback. We'll start it on the 20-yard line. Colton McCoy, he's been beat up as well, knocked down an awful lot the last few games. This is his 17th career start.
You know, the thing about Colt, and they've struggled to start, but this guy's a finisher, and he's tough. You see some of the hits that he takes week in and week out, and he keeps coming back. He keeps a positive attitude. Like I said, this is a fun guy to watch develop.
They'll start off with Obanaya. He fumbled the first carry last week against the Texans, holds on to the ball, and we'll get a couple. Laurinaitis on the tackle. Issues at the running back spot. Peyton Hillis, their big-timer last year, he has been injured on and off, can't get in the lineup. Montario Hardesty, who came in as a backup, he is hurt with a calf pull.
Well, you're going to get some inconsistencies on offense when you're starting 3 rookies. That's just the fact of the matter.
2nd down and 7. Boy stepped in front of, but caught somehow by Little still going. And Little pushed out of bounds. He'll be about a yard or so shy of the first down. That's Greg Little, the rookie 2nd-round pick out of North Carolina. Defensively, the Rams have had activity from their defensive ends. Chris Long having a pretty darn good year. He changed his number, and his sack total already at 7, leading the team.
I love watching James Laurinaitis play this game. He plays the way you're supposed to play, with passion, intensity. He's into it every play. They've just struggled in the back end. They've had so many injuries in their secondary, especially the corners. It's been difficult.
3rd down, that looks like it's going to be shy. It's complete to Little again, but he didn't get past the sticks, according to the official's mark. Laurinaitis is there, and that'll be an early punt. 1, 2, 3 and out. for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, Ronnie, this has been a common problem, as we know, for the Cleveland Browns, and that's starting fast. They have not scored a point yet this year on an opening drive. Getting off to a good start, especially at home, is something that they need to find a way to get done. And so far, not very good.
Maynard will punt. He's had a sore leg. And quite a win here in Cleveland. Let's see if this affects his ability to drive the ball out. Not a great punt, low line driver. That ball taken by Pettis. Pettis, the third-round pick out of Boise State. It's covered well. He gets back up to about the 34-yard line. Luka Maiava on the coverage. Sam Bradford, we already mentioned the injured left ankle. He heads back in here, the second game back after missing 2 with that bad ankle.
I think,
Ronnie,
Ronnie,
improve on the road.
the thing to watch here earlier is can the Rams have success running the football against this Brown defense that struggled so mightily against the Texans last week?
And they'll probably start off with a dose of that man. Nope, Steven Jackson, they go play action to him, and they dump it off. Nice looking play. Britton Miller leaks out of the backfield with a nice gain on first down, a pickup of 19. Up front, you see Jackson, Britton Miller there. And the big change really up front is Tony Roddy. He steps in at the center position for Jason Brown, and we say that change, and we hear that change is strictly performance related. Brown, up to today, had 84 straight starts. Jackson will try to pound against this Browns team, and for good reason, Jimmy. The Browns gave up a ton of rushing yards last week to the Houston Texans. 2 running backs went over the 100-yard mark, Arian Foster and Ben Tate.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Ronnie, not to get away from that point, but the fact that the Rams now are going to a no-huddle, a little bit up-tempo, trying to get themselves going quick here, and there's a good run by Jackson.
Jackson with a crease, and he'll have the first down. So the Rams with an early play action to Jackson and some good yardage. They move the ball now into Cleveland Brown territory.
I think this no huddle or this muddle huddle, whatever you want to call it, is a good idea. On the road, you got a young quarterback. You're playing against a team that's struggling on offense, and so you're going to try to establish something offensively early, keep them off balance.
Play action to Jackson, looking deep, waiting for the clear, nearly intercepted. Scott Fujita got a hand on it. Cleveland Browns defense, we talked about their issues against the run, but they're ranked number 6 overall.
Well, this is a very good secondary you're about to see here. The guy that I love watching play is Joe Hayden. What an outstanding corner in this league, only in his second year. But every week when you talk to people about emerging stars, they bring up Joe Hayden.
Jackson trying the left side. Not much there. DeQuell Jackson, the team's leading tackler, and the AFC Defensive Player of the Month for the month of September, is all over it.
This is what Cleveland needs to do. They need to stop the run early, whether it's a first down play action pass, which they broke up, or it's that second down run. Get them into 3rd and long where they can turn loose the pass rush a little bit. We know that the Rams have struggled to protect the quarterback this year. They're last in the league in sacks allowed.
Brandon Lloyd at the bottom of your screen. Lloyd and Bradford have been more and more comfortable, and he's going that way. The quick comeback. Lloyd can't hold on. Joe Hayden, you just talked about him. Jimmy, he's all over it.
Yeah, this is a great matchup. Lloyd versus Hayden. Hayden up and bump and run, man to man. A really nice job of putting his foot in his ground, coming back to that back shoulder throw that Bradford's trying to hit Lloyd on. Really, that's a ball that Lloyd should catch, normally does catch. But when you're struggling on offense, boy, those plays right there magnify your struggles.
Donnie Jones standing at about the 48. Will try to kill this one inside the 10-yard line. Angles to the left. He's got a chance. Takes a bad bounce for the Rams and rolls on into the end zone for a touchback. Getting started early here in Cleveland. Colton McCoy and the Browns. Second time out of the chute coming up.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
The series between these two teams tied at 9 apiece. The Rams have won 3 of the last 5. The Browns started off hot in the season, or at least consistent, 2-1, but they have lost 4 of the last 5. 1st and 10, ball on the 20. They'll try the handoff on the right side with Ogbonnaya.
Ronnie, we talked about the struggles that Cleveland has had in the first quarter this year, and it's just so evident. You look at the first quarter scoring, 6 points scored, 58 allowed, no points scored on their first drive. People always talk about finishing. You know, you got to be a team that finishes. You know what else you got to be? A team that starts. You got to get yourself going, and they have really struggled this year.
A look at Pat Shurmur. Shurmur, the head coach, and also serving as the team's offensive coordinator, trying to get his 30th ranked offense moving. The flare route to a guy that can get your offense moving. That's Joshua Cribbs, and Cribbs with a first down and a big run as the crowd gets going. A pickup of 20.
Great job, Ronnie. What you got to do when you're struggling on offense, you got to get the ball to your playmakers. And this is just a little bubble screen on the outside here. You'll see Cribbs, 2 really good blocks on the outside. And he scrapes for the first down.
Al Harris shaken up. We'll check on him when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Boy, the Rams already with injury issues in the secondary. They lost their 2 starters earlier in the year, Ron Bartell and Bradley Fletcher. Now you've got an injury to Al Harris. Marquise Johnson checks in his place, and Josh Gordy checks in on the other side there for Darian Stewart. The flag goes down as they hand off inside for a couple. First call today from our referee, Clete Blakeman.
Offside. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Justin Bannett.
Ronnie, I really believe for the Browns to have success offensively today and in the future, they've got to get the ball to this guy, Joshua Cribbs, number 16. However they do it, whether it's out of the backfield, whether it's on a little bubble screen like you saw it right there. We know that he'll return punts and kickoffs, but the other team can keep the ball away from him on punts and kickoffs. You got to force feed this guy.
First down and 5. Ogbonnaya had a crease. It closed up quickly. Nice tackle there by Chamberlain. First game break of the day out to Los Angeles, and Kurt Menefee.
Yeah, we'll keep Browns fans updated on the big AFC North matchup between the Steelers and Bengals. Pittsburgh striking first, opening possession. Jericho Cotchery, 16 yards from Big Ben. It's 7-0. Steelers with the lead. Ron and Jim?
The Bengals a surprise this year at 6-2, but 3 teams knotted up at 6-2 in the AFC North: the Ravens, Bengals, and the Steelers. And that's the left side there by Ogbonnaya. Looks to fall forward for a first down. Let's go down to Dre Avent.
Hi, Ron. Injury update for you. Rams cornerback Al Harris has a right knee injury. He is questionable to return, guys.
All right, Dre, thank you very much. Al Harris brought in as a free agent this year from the Dolphins, 2-time Pro Bowler, 14 years in the NFL, 37 years old.
He can still get
looking
it
like
done,
he's a 21-year-old.
He can still get it done.
Moving around appears to be okay. So first down, 1st and 10 from McCoy. McCoy looks to pass. It's not there. Tucks it, and we'll pick up a couple.
There's a look at Pat Shurmur. You know, Pat is doing an excellent job. The thing that's tough for him, Ronnie, is that he does not have an offensive coordinator. So here he is in his first year as a head coach, and he didn't have an off season. He's trying to install a new offense. He's got a young quarterback, and he doesn't have anyone to help him. And I think in the future, what you'll see going into this offseason is Pat Shurmur hiring an offensive coordinator to help him with the workload that it takes to get this thing going.
2nd down and 8, play action. A catch and a hit. That's Big Ben Watson, the tight end. He's driven backwards. They will give him the forward progress. Justin King in on the tackle.
You know, Pat is an excellent play caller. He's a descendant of Mike Holmgren. You know, he understands this West Coast offense extremely well. And talking to Sam Bradford last night, he talked about the influence that Pat Shurmur had on him when he was coaching the Rams last year. But to try to take all of that on, to be the head coach, to be the offensive coordinator, to be the play caller, that's a heavy load, especially your first year as a head coach.
3rd and short. It's complete. And a Cleveland first down. Jordan Norwood, first-year man out of Penn State. King rounds him up. But the Browns move the chains again.
Good-looking release by Colt McCoy here on the 3-step drop. That means just a real 1, 2, 3, plant the foot, get the ball out quick, good, quick, compact release. And if the Browns can get themselves into those 3rd and manageables, then they're going to have a chance to have some offensive success. If they find themselves in 3rd and longs and allow that pass rush to get going, there's a wildcat.
There's a little wildcat. Cribbs, direct snap. Not a whole lot of yards. The Rams were ready for it. Laurinaitis is there first. Then Bannon helped clean it up.
You know, Ronnie, it's good to see the Cleveland Browns get a little bit creative now with Josh Cribbs. We've seen him touch the ball twice, a little bubble screen out in space. Now we see him in the Wildcat. These are not things that typically are part of a West Coast offense package. And so what you're seeing out of Pat Shurmur is he's saying, you know what, I've got to get more creative than I would typically get. I've got to get my playmaker the ball.
McCoy 5 for 5 already, as they'll try Obanai inside. Jim, we know about the trouble with the fast starts for Cleveland, not only the first quarter, but the 3rd quarter. Why?
Ronnie, sometimes early in the season you have some problems, and then all of a sudden it just magnifies itself, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And all the focus goes on, my goodness, we can't start fast. What are we doing? The problem gets so large. Let me finish the story after this play, see if they convert here and keep this drive alive.
3rd and 4. That was a quick shot of Peyton Hillis and Montario Hardesty, their 2 backs on the sideline. Trying with the ad-lib, going to Cribbs, but it's well covered. Justin King all over it. And that'll bring up 4th down. So the Rams defense stepping up as the Browns approach the red zone.
But Ronnie, in talking to their all-pro tackle, Joe Thomas, he said, what we need to do is we need to just boil it down to one play at a time and not let the problem get so big. Let's play a play. Let's have a successful play. Let's go back to the huddle, get the next call, and go execute.
Phil Dawson, 44 yards out. He has been solid throughout the season, especially from long range, balls up. And in this kind of wind, boy, you really appreciate that kick. You were down there on the field before the game. That wind is swirling. Now you know why they put the franchise tag on him. He puts up a quick 3 here in Cleveland.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Chase, don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom.
Jim, you like the decision on 4th and short. They're approaching the red zone to go for the field goal?
Well, initially, Ronnie, I thought there was a chance that Pat Shurmur might go for it on 4th and 4, try to keep the drive alive. But in a game like this, where it's windy, where you've got 2 defenses that are playing well and 2 offenses that are struggling, you know it's going to be a tight one. So I say take the 3. Good decision.
Quinn Porter, who spent time on the Browns practice squad last year and some of this year, pours it inside out to about the 32-yard line. Sam Bradford coming back for the Rams. 3-0 game here in the first. Well, Fox Wednesday, don't miss an all-new episode of The X Factor. It's down to only 10 acts, and the competition is fierce with a $5 million recording contract at stake. The final 10 will give it their all as they perform live for your votes. The X Factor, all new live this Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, only on Fox.
How about that shot of
double duty there, huh?
Yeah, you know what? You love to see a guy who's got an expertise on one side of the ball jumping in during the game and a certain control.
Play action going out the backside there. The throw is late, and it's out of bounds. Caught, but out of bounds by Brandon Lloyd, and you can see Bradford struggling a little bit to get around that corner, and he's known as a guy with great mobility.
He does. His foot's hurting him a little bit, but you talk about Spagnuolo, Steve Spagnuolo here, gathering the defensive backs together. They've been through a lot. They've got a lot of injuries. Heck, they've already suffered 2 today, but the head coach, gathering your guys up together, giving them a little pep talk, using his expertise. You'd love to see that on a game, during a game.
Homanami sets up in the backfield, and the Browns all over Jackson. A marker goes down late, but Scott Fujita is there on the right side.
Holding. Offense, number 47. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
They put the hold on Billy Bajema, the tight end.
Right here, Bajema, the tight end with the hold. A lot of times when you're facing a big, strong, tough defensive end like there and you're an undersized tight end, that happens. Teams will do that. They'll put your big stud defensive tackle over a tight end. You try to manhandle him like we saw Sheard do there.
That's right. Sheard, second round pick out of Pitt. A starter since week 2. Plenty of time for Bradford, steps into it. What a catch. Is he in? Yes, he is. Brandon Lloyd with the circus catch at the 45-yard line. Good for 24 and a first down.
This is a fantastic route by Brandon Lloyd. Watch him here with the inside cut. Hayden gets caught with his eyes back in the backfield. Then he takes it back to the boundary. Great route. Even better catch, Ronnie.
Brandon Lloyd traded to the Rams October 17th from Denver. Talked to him last night. He wasn't even sure why he got traded, but said he's happy to be a Ram. Plenty of room for Jackson, and Jackson now leaning forward for another Rams first down. Fujita on the tackle, but he picks up 11.
And go back and look at the catch here by Brandon Lloyd. I had Brandon Lloyd in San Francisco when he was a rookie, and he could do this from day one. Great concentration on the football, goes up with his right hand, catches the point of the ball, has the wherewithal to keep those feet in bounds. Just a very athletic movement. That's why the Rams wanted to get this guy.
Mark Clayton checks in for the first time this season at wide receiver. Jackson trying to get outside, but the speed of DeQuell Jackson matching Jackson on Jackson. Let's go to Los Angeles for an update.
Opening drive by the Broncos, they run 8 plays, and I mean run 8 plays. They didn't throw a single pass. Tim Tebow caps it off with a 7-yard touchdown run. They lead in Kansas City 7-0. Ron and Jim, they didn't throw a pass in the first quarter, didn't throw one in the fourth quarter of the last game either.
Well, the way he throws passes, I wouldn't have him throw any either.
Okay, how long can that last?
Not long.
Better get a neck roll ready. 2nd and 9, plenty of time. Should have been intercepted, and a flag is down. Usama Young, who was replacing the injured T.J. Ward, nearly had a pick, maybe a pick 6.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's away from the play there. That's Scott Fujita, the linebacker.
Watch Fujita here. Matched up in coverage. He's trying to get, wily old vet, crafty old vet, just gets a little bit handsy right there.
A little too much.
You can get away with that sometimes, but not that time.
Downhill, Jackson, he's got a lane, nice cut. And Jackson with a first down. Boy, that's the problem with a big guy like that. He can not only run you over, but then he gets a little jukey on you, puts his foot in the ground and makes you miss.
Well, Ronnie, he's so big, he's so powerful, he's so athletic, and he loves to finish by running guys over. This is a scary running back to face when you're a defense that's struggling against the run. Look
Jackson again.
Well, did you see the patience? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I like good football. You know that. I get carried away. But you see the patience in the backfield, and then the little jump cut to the left, and then straight downhill. At his height, his weight, it's amazing that he can make, see that little, right there, little jump cut, and then jump cut it to the outside, and then he's going to lower and come downhill right there. And look, he's looking for somebody to hit.
Averaging 144 yards rushing in the last 2 games. He's on pace, definitely, for a 7th straight 1,000-yard rushing season. Slowed down by that quad pull early in the season, but he's got it going.
Oh, he's a good player. He's fun to watch.
2nd and 5. Complete. First down. Lloyd again.
You know what I think you're going to see as this game develops, Ronnie? I think you're going to see the chemistry between Sam Bradford and Brandon Lloyd really pick up. They haven't practiced together but for this week because Bradford was hurt when Lloyd came in. Lloyd, his first 3 games here, has been the leading receiver in terms of yardage, but only 1 game played with Bradford. That was last week. It'll be fun to see this duo develop the rest of this season.
Rams staying with their no-huddle offense. They switch it up and give Britt Miller a little love. He'll try the left side for a couple. Jackson is there for the tackle.
Bradford in the red zone, Ronnie, this year has not been very good. You see only 4 completions in 21 attempts. And interestingly enough, St. Louis has only been in the red zone 18 times, which is 29th in the league. Not very good. But when they've been down there, they have not been successful.
Only 7 touchdowns.
Come on, Dad.
Complete. That's Bajema. And Bajema will be about 3 yards shy, depending on how they mark it, of the first down. Chris Gokong on the tackle.
Just good safe throw out there.
We wind down here in the first quarter. The Rams coming out with a little something new, something that the Browns have seen before and honestly had trouble with it, that no huddle. First is over, second quarter coming up, 3-0 Browns. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. A third down coming up here for the Rams in the red zone. Play action, time in the corner, caught, touchdown Rams. Brandon Lloyd with the spike in 6.
Well, Ronnie, they maxed it up, which meant they kept everyone into block, and they went one-on-one. Lloyd versus Hayden, and he has time because of the max protection to run that little pivot inside route, gets away with a little push off, and really wins against an outstanding corner. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun to watch this chemistry develop between Lloyd and Bradford. And the thing about Lloyd, when you're a 1-17 and you need a spark, the kind of guy you want in your locker room on your field is a guy like Brandon Lloyd, because he has a passion for the game. He loves to play. He's going to juice up your team, and he's going to make plays like that.
10 plays, 69 yards, capped off the 7-yard touchdown. Bradford to Lloyd. The local product, Rams coordinator Josh McDaniels from Canton McKinley High School and John Carroll University, feeling pretty good about that drive and the 7 points.
Well, that was a good drive, and they brought him in here. They went from the West Coast style offense to what Josh is familiar with, is what New England does, and it's a completely different structure of offense. Now, people would ask, does it fit what the Rams are doing? Because if you look at them statistically, they've been awful. They're 31st in the league, 12.5 points scored a game. But if you look down the road and you look at the type of quarterback they've got in Sam Bradford, you say, you know what? If we do a little bit better up front, shoring things up on the offensive line, we give them a little more weapons outside, this offense could fit Josh McDaniels' skill set, Sam Bradford's skill set to a T.
That ball kicked out of the end zone. Another look at the touchdown. Only 2 weeks to work together, but it's starting to pay dividends.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the Miller Lite Home Draft. Taste greatness. By the Droid Razor. Thin is no longer frail. Only at Verizon. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
A look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland. 7-3 just starting the second quarter. Darian Stewart shaken up earlier. They call it head injury, but he is back in the game. Josh Gordy continues as the corner, replacing the injured Al Harris, who injured his knee in the first quarter. Quick throw, and it's complete to the rookie, Little. Well, this December, 2 of the most storied conferences in college football culminate their seasons with 2 epic championship games. Fox Sports will bring them to you back-to-back. First, it's the Pac-12 championship game Friday, December 2nd, and the Big Ten championship game Saturday, December 3rd. Both games are here on Fox. And that's Marquise Johnson, the defensive back for the Rams, injured. Boy, the Rams just can't avoid even more injuries in the secondary. As we mentioned earlier, they're already without Fletcher and Bartell. Their 2 starting corners lost them earlier. And the decimation continues. We'll step away. The Rams medical staff checking out Marquise Johnson. Well, you know, when you take a shot to the head and they hold up 5 fingers and they say, how many are you holding up and how are you holding up, and you say 10. They pat you on the helmet and say, okay, you're all right. That's how it used to be, not anymore.
I'm so slow up here. Watch the hit right here. Right here, coming in from the left side of your screen here. Boom. Perfectly legal. Josh Cribbs. That one didn't hurt too bad. That just stunned him. He'll be okay. He'll be back in there. Woo. Did you ever take one of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you wonder, you get up and you say, okay, how many people saw it? Like everybody. Quentin Michael, number 27, checks in for the injured Marquise Johnson. Pressure under McCoy, and he can't hook up. Nice job there by Chris Long. You know, we had a chance to chat with Chris Long, and he said, what are you doing differently? He said, you know, nothing really. It's all clicking. I feel like a veteran now, finally.
Yeah, well, first of all, he changed his number. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, right,
I'm joking there. What I think is that he's figured the game out. You know, he spent a lot of his early years trying to figure out what he was supposed to do on defense. Now he can focus on how offenses are trying to attack him. He can come up with counter moves. He recognizes screen plays like he just saw there, and he's become a very good player. And we're back in the Wildcat here.
Direct snap to Cribbs. Boy, the Wildcat is thoroughly making a purr there.
Well, you have to wonder how much the statements that Josh Cribbs made earlier in the year, Cribbs in the week, Cribbs had said, hey, they got some special stuff for me. Anytime you say that, a defensive staff takes note and they say, okay, what could they do with Josh Cribbs? Well, the logical thing is put him in the backfield in the Wildcat. So there's no doubt in my mind that the Rams have a special call for the Wildcat package.
Cribbs in motion on the 3rd and 8. A quick throw with pressure, and it's too quick. Norwood wasn't ready, but the Rams brought the pressure. That was James Hall in Colt McCoy's face, and that'll bring up punt time for the Browns.
Good pressure here. You can see Marquise Johnson coming to the inside there. You got Laurinaitis looping around, and then James Hall gives him just a little shoulder shot just to say, hey, I'm here. Forced McColl to throw that ball, just a hesitation before he wanted to.
Austin Pettis is back deep to receive the Maynard punt. Another low line driver. Should be a good chance for a return. Pettis can't make up his mind, and as a result, he goes down inside the 30-yard line. Quentin Spears hustling down with the tackle. 7-3 game here in Cleveland, second quarter, 12:59.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chrysler, imported from Detroit.
Boy, the injuries for the Rams continue. Backup running back Cadillac Williams pulls a calf muscle. He's got ice on it. His return is questionable. Play action to Jackson. The crosser, not quite on target. It was there. Brandon Gibson had the separation. Got a hand on it. Could have been thrown better. Probably should have been caught as well. Here's a look at the offensive leaders. Jackson got it going early there toward the end of the first quarter. Found some nice lanes, and I hope you saw the great catch by Brandon Lloyd on the sideline. The two finally hooking up. Fake the throw and give to Jackson. The Browns defense rallies, led by Ataba Rubin.
Ron, go back to the incompletion to Gibson. You said, was it a bad throw, a bad route? It's a bad route, okay? Watch Gibson come out here. When he comes out, this is a bang 8. When he comes out of his break, he slows down, not anticipating that the ball might be there. He's got to run through his route and finish. See what happens there? You got a chance to get a first down on first down. Now it's 1st and 10 after an incomplete. Tendencies say we're going to run the ball. You run the ball, you get stuck. Now you got 3rd and long. You know, it all has to mesh together, and it's not doing so for the Rams right now.
Gibson bothered a little bit by a thigh injury, but that excuse never flies on Monday morning. No excuses needed there. That's a catch and a first down done the right way. Austin Pettis, third round pick, I should say, out of Boise State, moving the chains.
And look at the protection here up front, Ronnie. And it's just a 4-man rush, and it's 5-man staying in there, but a beautiful pocket.
Great job.
And you know what? That is what you want to see when you're running this New England Patriots style of offense. You want a quarterback that can step up into that sweet spot in the pocket and deliver the ball downfield. And with Bradford and his height, you've got that.
Plenty of time. Once again, ball tipped up. That's going to be picked off by Fujita.
Well, I just got done singing their praises, and that happens. But you saw a good pocket again, just a really good play by the Cleveland Browns defense there.
Had time, ball's tipped. That's a double there. You get the tip and the pick. Browns ball when we come back. Scott Fujita with his first interception of the year, 7th of his career. And I guess just unlucky for Bradford. Ball tipped and picked off by the same guy. The Browns will take over. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line. Thomas Clayton checks in for the first time today for the Browns at running back, and he'll get the call and lose yards. Laurinaitis knew what the play was. He was all over it along with Chamberlain.
Go back to the interception. Here's Laurinaitis here, and he's got man-to-man coverage on Steven Jackson. Fujita here, when Jackson goes to cut the end, Fujita basically becomes free, so he can just linger in the middle there. Does a nice job of reading Bradford's eyes. Ball's tipped up, makes a really athletic play, Ronnie, to tip it and then catch it and then tuck it away and get a few yards.
The 4th interception of the season for Sam Bradford. But a loss of 3 on that run play by Clayton. Play action, looking deep, and it's caught right over the top of a Rams defender. Alex Smith comes up with the catch. Out to Los Angeles and an update.
Well, after spotting Pittsburgh at 14-0 lead, the rookies begin to lead the Bengals back like they have all season. Andy Dalton hooking up with A.J. Green, 36 yards on the score. The defense then picked off Roethlisberger, and they added a field goal. It's now 14-10. Pittsburgh holding on. Ron and Jim.
Ron hits Jim Moore. Dre Avent down on the sideline. We've got a 7-3 game, 10-15 and counting here in the first half. 3rd and short, a high one, but caught by Josh Cribbs. Yes, it is good. King on the coverage.
Watch Cribbs here come down in motion, and that's just to try to create space to the outside, get the corner bailing off, and a really nice throw away outside by Colt McCoy. There's a 4th touch now for Cribbs. 2 of them resulted in first downs.
Boy,
got to keep getting him the football.
Excuse me there, Jimmy. A little confusion there in the
Wildcat
huddle
again,
there.
Ronnie.
The Browns. Wildcat Seneca Wallace moved in the huddle. Then he went outside. The double reverse pass, looking down the field. There's one up the sideline. That's Wallace.
Oh, that's good. Hey, you know what? Earlier what I said about the West Coast offense and not wanting to do tricky stuff, scratch that, because they go Wildcat. They pitch it to Seneca. He pitches it back to Colt McCoy. Seneca heads down the sideline and athletic enough to make a good catch. I don't know why Seneca didn't step back inside, skip the block.
He's
really
not
good
loose
looking
yet.
play.
Boy, good eyes there by McCoy because he wanted to go front side. It was well covered, and he saw it backside.
Nicely designed play.
A pickup of 21 yards. They'll go back to the run game.
I don't know
and
why.
Clayton, not much there. Chris Long is there, though.
The run game is failing the Browns right now, and it's because of the fact that they are just decimated at the running back position. It's not scheme. It's the fact that they're down to their 4th and 5th runners. And they have to be creative like they were on the previous play with the ball down to Seneca Wallace, because they're not going to be able to run the football right now. Not with the guys that they've got trying to run it.
And you're talking about Thomas Clayton, signed last Tuesday. Played against the Texans, had 5 rushes, but as we said earlier, he is subbing for Hardesty and Peyton Hillis. He gets the swing route, lowers his head. and goes straight ahead. Justin King is there along with Stewart. Boy, I hope you got plenty of air in your helmet on that one.
Wow, that's 3 guys hitting each other hard. That's football. That's good stuff right there.
Right. If you're not signed up for that, then get off the field, huh?
Yeah. Don't play in the NFL if you don't like that stuff.
Clayton, a third-year man out of Kansas State, barely knew the playbook last week, but a guy that's been on and off practice squads all of his career. He is stepping up today. He's got to be the guy. 3rd and 6. In the end zone and knocked away. Nice job. At the last second, Justin King got up and knocked that ball away. Jordan Cameron, 4th-round pick out of USC, was going to have an easy touchdown.
One thing about Colt McCoy is he can extend a play with his mobility. Loves to escape out to his right here, but the coverage down the field was just really good. And the red zone struggles that Cleveland's had continue. They're not down there very often. They've only been in the red zone 14, now 15 times all year, and they have really struggled.
Dawson already good from 44 yards out. This is 32. Pulls it to the left, but it's already through the pipes. So he's 2 for 2. And we'll have a 1-point game here in Cleveland. Points off turnovers, that's what everybody wants in this league. 3 points off the Fujita interception. 8 plays, 37 yards. Dawson 32 yards out on the field goal. That's McCoy talking things over with his quarterback coach, Mark Whipple.
You know, and the Rams have struggled this year, Ronnie, giving up points after turnovers. 3rd most points given up off turnovers in the league this year, and you saw it again there. Now, the good thing is they were able to hold them to a field goal. The bad news is they gave up another score off of a turnover.
Dawson puts it up high. This has a chance for a return. That's Porter. Porter going sideways, never a good sign. Great coverage as well by the Browns special teams unit. Mitchell along with Ventrone hustling down. And we talked about that Red River rivalry matchup, and here it is again in the NFL.
Yeah, and these guys actually are playing pretty well today, Ronnie. And you look at their statistics there. They don't jump off the charts at you, but when you watch them play the game, they look like a couple of young guys that are starting to figure out this league. Colt McCoy doesn't have the luxury right now of having a running game, so there's a little bit more pressure on him right now to perform, and I think he's doing a nice job so far.
Ball at the 10. Jackson trying to get him out of the hole. He'll have about 2 before Emmanuel Stevens stepping in for Jamie Mitchell helps make the stop. Out to Los Angeles for an update.
Well, the Cowboys lead Buffalo 21-7, but the highlight of the day may be the Bills wide receiver David Nelson getting the touchdown to cut it to 21-7, and then his girlfriend's a Cowboy cheerleader, so he goes over, gives her the football and a hug. Aw, Ron and Jim.
Lucky guy. Touchdown and a Cowboy cheerleader.
You better win the game, that's all I can say. 2nd and 8. Bootleg throw, complete.
Ronnie, my wife was a cheerleader at the University of Washington when I was playing there, and we were playing Arizona State, and we beat them. Okay, we beat them to put ourselves into the Rose Bowl. You know what I did? I did that. Now, I didn't have the ball. I took a rose down to her. It was the very first time I ever kissed her. Was at Arizona State Sun Devil Stadium after we won the game and put us in the Rose Bowl. I ran there and I said, Shannon, you know, you be my girlfriend. Gave her a kiss. We've been married for 19 years now.
That's good stuff. 3rd and 2. Looking for the quick slant. Held it a little bit too long. Sheldon Brown, the former Eagle, coming down the pipe to help break it up on the rookie Pettis.
You know, Ronnie, the Rams receivers, besides Brandon Lloyd, they can't get away from this tight man-to-man coverage that the Cleveland defense is putting on. And you really see it all over the field. This is not a team, Cleveland, that you typically see play a lot of man-to-man. Now, they'll mix it in. But today they say, you know what, we can cover the guys on the other side of the ball, and we're going to do it in man-to-man until they show us that they can beat us. And besides Brandon Lloyd, they haven't been able to beat it.
Rams coverage units now having to step up. They gave up the 99-yard return for a touchdown to win the game in overtime from Arizona. A flag goes down. Great coverage. Chamberlain starting at linebacker, now hustling down on special teams. You got 2 flags down.
Well, it worked out that time, but I don't know about skyballing one right down the middle to Josh Cribbs.
Josh Cribbs,
I don't like that decision at all. Put that ball out by the numbers. That'll jump up and that'll bite you right there, those kinds of kids.
Clete Blakeman and his crew talking it over on the left. Chamberlain, as I said, he's pulling double duty now. He's starting at linebacker. Now he's got to run down on special teams. Coaches don't want to hear that you're sucking air in the meeting on Monday either.
No.
They just want to know, did you cover the kick right?
That's right.
There are 2 fouls against the receiving team on the play. Illegal in the block in the back, receiving team number 23. That penalty is declined. Holding, receiving team number 56. That penalty will be enforced from the spot of the catch. First down, Cleveland.
They'll take the one from Kaluka Maava and go back.
Ronnie, watch the eyes. Joshua Cribbs, watch the concentration. He's got the blustery winds here in Cleveland today, but watch the concentration, looking it all the way in. You know, if you're a youth football coach, there's a lot of good things you can take away from games like this. The things that you and I emphasize to our kids about, you know, tackling and looking the ball all the way in. All you got to do is watch a game on Fox, man. It's like a clinic every week.
That's right. You look at Cribbs' total touches. Not so much the threat returning punts as he is on the kickoffs, but you still don't want to light that fuse. They'll switch it up now. Clayton had his run. Now they go to Obanaya for a couple inside. Well, Fox tonight, television's most animated night, is all new with an unforgettable night of laughs. Animation Donimation kicks off with an all-new Simpsons starring the world's top chefs tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central on Fox. That's some animation domination hair right there. Just a way to brighten things up here in Cleveland as we turn the corner on winter. Ben Lieber checks in for the Rams with flags go down. Lieber checks in at the linebacker spot. Waiting for the call.
Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty is enough for a first down.
That's on Fred Robbins.
How's that happen? You're lined up right on the ball and you jump. Let's go back to the Cleveland running attack, Ronnie. What I want you to watch when you're watching this game is that there will be some holes there for the backs to hit. The problem they're having right now is finding a back that has the burst and acceleration to find that crease and get through it before it closes.
Nothing doing there. Obanaya for a couple. I don't even had a couple. I think he lost on that one. Lieber, who just checked in, is all over the top.
Well, guys can only hold their blocks for so long. And a running back has to be able to get to the edge of that block and get downfield quick. And what's happening here is there's just not enough ability in that backfield right now with the guys that they're having to play with. Hey, they're trying hard. They're working their tails off. I respect them for being NFL players, but they don't have the burst and the speed that you need to be able to get downhill while the offensive line has their blocks sustained.
Almost a soap opera-like story with Peyton Hillis. We'll get to that in a second. McCoy trying to make something happen, just gets beyond the line of scrimmage before Laurinaitis meets him. And as you remember last year, Peyton Hillis with the great year. He lit the world on fire, got on the Madden cover for video games and wants the new contract and all that. But then he starts off this season with strep throat, misses a game. Then he pulls a hamstring, misses more games. The guy can't get back on the field. And President Mike Holmgren has said pretty much, listen, until I see it on the field, you know, we're not going to talk contract.
And they shouldn't. I mean, the guy's done it 1 year. Now they miss him. They miss him dramatically right now.
That ball is incomplete. Everybody wants a flag, but they're not going to get it. Intended for Ben Watson, and all over the coverage there is Marquise Johnson. That'll bring up 4th down.
You go back to Hillis, Ronnie, and yeah, he was a very good back for them last year. But the one thing I can tell you about Mike Holmgren knows this game. All right, he knows football players, and he wants you to prove your worth before he pays you. And I think the other thing that Peyton Hillis has to be very careful about is showing up the big show, all right? Because Mike does not like that, and that will end up hurting you.
That's a nickname he got from Seattle. You win that many championships, they give you a little love. And talking about giving a little love, that's Pettis. Pettis with a juke or two with a nice return. Out to Los Angeles, Kurt Menefee with an update.
Falcons and Saints. Jimmy Graham had a couple of drops earlier in the game. He doesn't drop this. Wide open from Drew Brees. He scores from 21 yards out. Decides to slam dunk it in celebration and, well, knock the goalpost out of whack. They had to delay the game a little bit. Saints okay with that. They're up 10-6. Ron and Jim.
Saints also up by a game in the division. There's a look at Mike Holmgren there. You get the feeling that the Browns, if it continues the way it's going, that they really have no problem making Hillis a free agent and letting him walk at the end of the season.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the season. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back and finishes strong this year, because if he does, then certainly that could change things. But, you know, you're taking a look at Mike right there. There's no better football man in the National Football League than Mike Holmgren. I'm not talking about just as a coach, but I'm talking about a football man, a guy who knows players, who knows how to build a team, who knows what it takes to win, and he'll make the right decisions with regards to what they do with Peyton Hillis.
Jackson on the last play. Jackson on this play, running over his own offensive lineman to pick up the 1st down.
And Ronnie, I think this play right here kind of magnifies the difference between a really good back and Steven Jackson with the quick feet and the ability to get downhill. And you know what I mean. Getting downhill means getting my shoulders north and south and running people over. Right there, he runs his own guy over. But he's got burst, he's got speed, he's got explosion, there it is again. And
bouncing off defenders and still going. Mike Adams involved in the 2nd tackle in a row. And you can see Jackson is fired up.
Oh, don't let that guy get fired up now. You know, they talk about...
Watch what he does to DeQuell Jackson right here.
2-minute warning.
Get off me, son. 2 good players there. That's the 2-minute warning. .22 yards on that last game by Jackson. He's responsible for all 32 yards on this drive.
When you're tackling a big man like Steven Jackson, you got to get a lot of people around the ball. Arm tackles aren't going to do it, and shoulder tackles like you saw there, you got to wrap this guy up, and you got to get around his legs.
Oh, and they get around him that time. Philip Taylor there, gives him a little extra after the play.
I don't know about giving Steven Jackson a little extra, all right? Steven Jackson is, you know, they talk about Marshawn Lynch and beast mode and all that. This guy right here, Steven Jackson, is as powerful and explosive a runner as there is in the National Football League, and he runs angry. I mean, he wants to hurt you when he runs over you.
Taylor, rookie out of Penn State, he's just learning. Jackson again, boy, they seem comfortable just giving the Jackson down here. Jabal Shepherd is there. They've had the success with Brandon Lloyd on the outside. You'd think you'd want to go back to that at some point here.
Well, I think they will. You know, what happens now is when they have success running the football like this, you're going to force Cleveland to bring an extra guy into the box. That means that you're going to isolate your corners outside man-to-man, and Brandon Lloyd's has some success against Hayden in man-to-man today.
Timeout by Cleveland. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee to see what he's got at halftime.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, we'll have scores and highlights from a busy Week 10 in the NFL, including the Steelers trying to pass Cincinnati in the standings, and the Cowboys trying to catch Buffalo in the win column. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. I think mine was better.
It was, yeah. I mean,
good catch, Kurt. 3rd and 6.
Bad looking throw, though.
They do spread him out here. Lloyd is in the slot up top. Plenty of time. That one sails across the middle, in and out of the hands of Gibson. Gokong was in the area.
We mentioned, you know, the man-to-man matchups. that Brandon Lloyd's been winning on the outside with Hayden. Well, that time Cleveland on third down went into a zone. Dropped 7 guys into coverage, sat with their eyes back on the ball. They wanted to avoid that man-to-man look, that isolation with Hayden on Lloyd.
Next weekend on the FX Saturday College Football Game of the Week, Charles Davis and Gus Johnson will be in Austin, Texas, where the Kansas State Wildcats will battle the Texas Longhorns in a showdown between 2 nationally ranked rivals. The FX Saturday College Football Game of the Week is next weekend in high definition only on Fox. And hey, that's a little Colt McCoy action there, going back to Texas there, right?
How about
looking
the points that Kansas State put up last night? My goodness.
Yeah, we talk about the 2 quarterbacks now, and we mentioned at the beginning of the game, but points at this level, not the same as points in college, and both quarterbacks probably have lost more in the last couple of weeks than they've lost their entire careers in college.
Yeah, they're learning how hard it is to win at this level. You talk to both of those guys, and they say, you know, in college, everybody was open. In the pros, nobody's open. My pass has got to be perfect every single time, and that's just a difference in the athletes on the other side of the ball. But the thing, you're looking at these 2 guys, these are 2 promising young stars in this league, and they both are in systems that match their capabilities as quarterbacks.
Cribbs back up to the 25-yard line. The Red River rivalry. There's a look at Bradford and McCoy head-to-head.
Hatfield and McCoy or Bradford and McCoy?
Which one you want to say.
How about this? This is what's so impressive to me. The 2008 Heisman Trophy winning. Look at the production there. These guys are winners. And what's going to happen is eventually these 2 franchises that drafted these guys high, they're going to realize them as winners, and it's going to pay off for them. It's just going to be a long, slow building process, but they're the right guys.
So after the 29-yard field goal by Brown, McCoy will come out throwing, but he'll get a quick flag as Chris Long checks it up.
Holding, offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That wipes out the throw to Greg Little.
Ronnie, I mentioned that the systems that these guys are in, Bradford and McCoy, fit their skill set. When you think about McCoy, when I think about McCoy, I think about guys like Joe Montana. I think of guys like Steve Young, not big, tall guys, but athletic guys that can make plays on the move, that are good decision makers, that are accurate throwers. He's good in this West Coast offense. When you look at Bradford, you know, I think about a big, tall guy that can stand in the pocket like Tom Brady and throw the ball downfield. So I think they're both on the right track.
That last penalty on Laval, the handoff to Obanaya, and Banaya with some extra room here as we wind down in the first half. Comes up with a nice gain. Craig Dahl is there for the tackle. He picked up 11. As Cribbs stays in bounds, and they'll have to stop the clock, use a timeout. Gordy is there with the tackle. And there's a timeout called by the Rams.
First timeout.
He tries to get a little extra, and sometimes when you try for extra, you get extra wax on your helmet.
Yeah, the thing you appreciate about Josh Cribbs is his toughness, and he shows that every time he runs down and covers a kick, because how many times in the NFL do you see starting wide receivers begging to get on special teams, and not as returners, but Josh Cribbs says, I want to run down and cover kicks. I want to help my team by going down and tackling people. That is so rare. You love to see a guy like that. You love his passion for the game. You love the fact that he's willing to sacrifice for his team. And it's going to pay off for this guy, and it's going to pay off for this organization. Have quality guys like him, like Colt McCoy. They're building it the right way.
7 touches for a grand total of 72 yards for Cribbs. They go to the opposite side of the field. That's Jordan Norwood working on King. The Rams so depleted right now in the secondary. They are down to their backup and even third-string corner.
They are. But that being said, what's really impressive to me right now is how comfortable Colt McCoy looks. We were here, Ronnie, about 3 weeks ago. This is a different quarterback right now. So you're seeing him grow into what he will be, which is a really efficient NFL quarterback.
Pump fake looking down the field. He's got one. Wide open Little. A flag is down at the Rams' 48-yard line. Boy, that was a nice Dino route. The bend in and go. But let's check the flag. Nobody appears to be marching back the other way, so we'll wait for Clete Blakeman to make the call.
Ronnie, beautiful route. You know, typically in a situation
Holding.
like...
Defense, number 21. The penalty is declined. First down, Cleveland.
That's Justin King with the hold.
Typically in this situation, and watch Dahl back here, playing a defense called quarters coverage, which means the defensive backs, the two corners and the safeties are responsible for the 4 deep zones. What you saw there was just a little inside move by Little to get the safety to jump on it. Safety expects the corner to be over the top for the double move. Corner wasn't there. People will look at that and they'll say, well, hey, Dahl shouldn't have jumped that. No, Dahl is supposed to jump that. The corner's got to get over the top.
You heard it from the coach. Get over the top. Greg Little with 52 yards on the reception. McCoy in trouble. Gets it tipped. Looked like Laurinaitis got a hand on it. 10 seconds left.
Look at this again. This is a great look. Okay, now watch. Boom, up and go. When the guy goes in the corner, get over the top. Safety's got to jump that in route. Set up beautiful. Great call by Pat Shurmur. I'm sure that in looking at film
Cleveland has
this
2
week,
timeouts left. They did not take a timeout in that prior play.
in
2
looking
timeouts.
at film this week, they'd seen a propensity in that coverage for that safety to jump it and that corner to be lazy getting over the top, and it really hurt him right there.
And that corner that was lazy was Josh Gordy,
Hey, when I was
free agent, and down to their third-string guy there.
Listen, when I was coaching the secondary in the NFL, there was not a single week that went by that we did not work on that route versus that coverage because of what can happen right there.
Timeout taken by the Rams. They'll have 1 left. Coming up, it's the Visa halftime report. The guys will have all the stuff around the NFL. But boy, what about the pass, though? In a very windy situation, only former players, coaches can really appreciate that kind of throw in this kind of wind. That ball is moving around like crazy up there.
Right, and people have questioned Colt McCoy's arm strength. If you can't spin the ball, you can't throw a tight spiral. If you don't have arm strength, you can't make that throw in these conditions. Now they need to pay it off with a touchdown, Ronnie. That's what they need to do. They need to go in feeling good about themselves by scoring a touchdown here.
Josh Cribbs up top in the slot. Going to the tight end more, and it's knocked away, but there's a flag. Gordy knocked it away, but let's check the flag. 5 seconds left.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Offense, number 89. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's on Evan Moore, the intended receiver.
Right.
Well, it happened before,
Yeah, it happened
coming
before
off the
that.
ball.
It happens coming off the line of
Right
scrimmage
here.
here. You look at it here.
Cleveland takes their second timeout.
He just gets his
Oh,
thumb.
I
Looks
didn't-
like
I
he gets
didn't-
his thumb caught in there. That's just
That's not a
unfortunate.
lot,
I mean,
yeah.
but you got to
Yeah.
call it. You got to call it. See, I thought right there that they would call defensive pass interference.
Michael coming over
Michael,
late.
Yeah, Michael coming right through without looking back at the ball. Now you can face guard, but you can't make contact.
Now a timeout called by the Browns, and they'll bring on the field goal unit.
Here's the call again, Ronnie. Watch with his left hand just gets caught
Yeah,
right in
you
the
know,
face
this,
mask
looking
there.
at it a second time, I think he clearly gained an advantage coming off the line of scrimmage. So Dawson has been money thus far, 2 for 2 from 44 and 32. This is 43 yards out. Clean. So Dawson, as I said earlier, getting that franchise tag, a one-year tender, $3.1 million, and thus far he's been worth every single penny of it. That is the end of the first half. We'll be back here in Cleveland right after this.
Jim Mora.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. A 1-point game here in Cleveland as we get ready to start the second half. Ron Pitts, Jim Mora, and you just heard the guys mention a couple good points about Sam Bradford and the inability to throw the ball down the field. It brings up a good point. We talked to Sam last night. A change in offensive coordinator. Last year, Cleveland head coach Pat Shurmur was the Rams offensive coordinator. This year, Josh McDaniels comes over. His ideology or his thinking is more down the field, more vertical.
Right, it is, but they're not able to do that right now because what Terry said is the protection issues, like Howie said, the issues up front with injuries. You know, I think that we're seeing some pretty good things out of Bradford and McCoy today. I think we're seeing the development of two young quarterbacks who are going to be good players in the league. The difference today is the ability of the Rams to run the football and the inability of the Browns to run the football.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And for the Browns now, their issues have been first quarter and third quarter. So when Colt McCoy comes back on offense, that'll be the topic of discussion. But right now, with a 1-point lead, the Rams will get the ball and start things going on here in Cleveland. Dawson, who's been very solid, will kick it away. He's hit on all his field goals in the first half, and there is a touchback. Let's go down to Dre then.
Hi, Ron. Well, I spoke with Coach Spagnuolo, and he said he's happy with the balanced offense his guys are creating through the air and on the ground. And he said that's why we brought Brandon Lloyd here, is to have those kind of receptions with Sam Bradford back there. But he says as a defense, we need to recover better, and we also need to get back to playing our style of defense. And Coach Shurmur told me he will continue to implement the Wildcat. He loves the, quote, jolt that Cribbs is having out there. And he said we need to do a better job on our run defense, and we also need to start fast in the third quarter. I know we're not known for it, but he says we need to start that trend today, guys.
Yeah, we just talked about that faster start. As Bradford resets his offense. Play action. He's got one in the middle. Can't get it there. Nice play. Gokong, Chris Gokong, but a flag is down at the 18-yard line. Looked like maybe an illegal shift or motion.
Illegal shift, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Good call, Ronnie. Not the way you want to start the second half, though. You got a guy wide open, ball gets tipped, and the further the problem, you got a penalty. So now you're looking at 1st and 15.
I actually got to give the credit to my stat man, Mark Amento, for that one. He helped me out a lot. Dixon, short motion, get back to Jackson in the run game, and there he goes. Steven Jackson, and Jackson with a nice run and a first down. Philip Taylor hustling all the way down from the D tackle position. Brings him down, but not before he picks up 17.
Guy just flat run here. They're getting into the no huddle and trying to get the tempo going again. Watch the block on the outside here. First of all, you got Lloyd and Hayden. We're going to miss it there. You got Lloyd and Hayden going after each other.
They'll try that side again. Young is there to bring down Jackson. And an injured Ram, an offensive lineman there. That's Roger Saffold, the hometown native here from Bedford, Ohio. A little shaken up. We'll check on him in a minute.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost. By Visa, more fans go with Visa. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
So Saffold walks off under his own power. They're checking up on him right now. In his place, Mark LaVore, brought in as a free agent this year, 50-year man out of Notre Dame. And they'll try his side with Jackson. Jackson hit hard and goes straight down. His Dahl mixes it up with Paxson. Fujita with the hit on Jackson. No gain on the play.
Well, they haven't heard that a whole lot in the last couple of weeks. No gain on the play on a run. That sounds good. That's music to Dick
Dick Geron's,
Dick
yeah,
Geron,
that's right.
I'm saying Dick LeBeau, Dick Geron's ears there.
Browns coming into this game defensively, giving up 4.4 a rush. Around the corner, so much for the bad ankle. Bradford stretches, and he is in pain. Bradford slow to get up. Screen and Rubin with the tackle. But yep, it looks as though he's limping and favoring that left ankle. You can see the contraption they have on that ankle there. It's like a knee brace, but for an ankle. What did he tell us last night? He's got to have a size 15 shoe just to get the thing on.
Yeah, size 15 shoe. And this was going to be a shovel pass, which is a little inside dump pass to Jackson. And it was covered up well, so Bradford had to tuck it and go.
Well, it's not, I don't want to speculate the ankle. It could be a knee, it could be anything, but. Oh, yeah. He landed on the knee area.
That's 330 landed on your lower leg. That does not feel good, whether you've been hurt coming into the game or not.
So that means that A.J. Feely will have to check in.
And the one thing we know about A.J. Feely, Ronnie, is they can win with him. They beat the Saints with him at the helm. And so, you know, this team will feel confident with him entering the game. Certainly, they'd want to have Bradford out there. We'd all want to see Bradford out there, you know, rising young star in this league. But the Rams are confident that they can play and win with Feely. And if you watch Bradford walk off the field there, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him back in after a couple plays.
That's good news that he can get off under his own power.
Well, yeah, and you know what? When you're a competitor like this guy and you've got the toughness that this kid's got, and you're going to get back out there and help your team win. Like Big Rubin come in there and finish.
So A.J. Feely checks in. Feely started for Bradford 2 games. And Bradford went down with the ankle injury against Dallas and against the Saints, and Jackson goes backwards. That's a loss. Young is there along with Philip Taylor. A loss of 5 and 1 play and out, 1 play back in for Sam Bradford.
This kid's a competitor. That didn't take long. I mean, he was in pain now. He shook it off. He's going to get. You got to respect that about him. And that's one of the things when if you're a Rams fan that you got to love. Yeah, you don't like that your team's 1-7, but you like that you got a quarterback with the toughness that this kid's got.
Steven Spock checks in the backfield. They go play action inside, and it's caught somehow. Boy, Brandon Lloyd just comes up with those amazing catches with a guy hanging all over him. Joe Hayden had the coverage.
Yeah, that was a dart, Ronnie. I mean, there was no ill effects from that ankle on that throw because he stepped into it. Watch his footwork here. Play action pass to Jackson, sets up in the pocket, steps right up, and boom, throws a dart in there to Brandon Lloyd. Nice job. Hayden's got his hands full today with Brandon Lloyd. He even tried to grab him there a little bit and couldn't get away with it.
Key block there by the right guard, Harvey Dahl, giving Bradford a few extra milliseconds to throw the ball. 3rd and 4, outside. It's caught. Pettis, and Pettis will have the first and then some as he works in the Cleveland territory. Sheldon Brown missed the initial tackle. That's a pickup of 12 yards.
Just efficient. You know, they're efficient right now. They're running the ball well. They're converting on 3rd down. The problem that they have, the Rams offensively, is really the same problem that the Cleveland Browns have offensively is the ability to stretch the field. The one guy that can stretch the field is this guy out here, Brandon Lloyd. But these guys in here got to be able to protect so that the quarterback has time to get it to him.
Jackson, right side for about 3. Let's go down to Dre Avent.
Hi, Ron. Well, an injury update for you. Rams tackle Roger Saffold has a head injury. He is out for the rest of the game, guys.
Well, that could be big. Saffold now, your left tackle,
Right.
I might say.
And they were already missing their right tackle, Jason Smith, with a head injury as well. And the league is doing a good job protecting their players when it comes to head injuries.
Smith with the neck injury along with the concussion. 2nd and 6. Ball is loose, and it's recovered by the Browns. Chris Gokong with the recovery. Gokong may have had a hand in forcing that fumble as well. He did. 2 for 2. So Chris Gokong will get credit for the forced fumble and the fumble recovery on Jackson. Gokong, a 6-year man out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, brought in last year in a trade with the Eagles. Sets up 30-yard line field position for the Browns. That's the give around the right side to Obanaya. Here's a look at the fumble and the recovery.
Good tackle by Fajita, and a really nice job just getting his hand in there to get the script with Gokong.
You know, and for a while there, Steve Spagnuolo
He thought about it.
tried to about challenging that, and then he
Got the
back
great
in his
camera
pocket.
work from Fox, and he said, nah, I ain't going to win that one.
Safety pressure, it gets there late. Ball is up for Cribbs, and it's not there. The fans want a flag, they won't get it. Oh wait, there's one down late, but that's back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Penalty
Correction, 10-yard penalty.
goes against Alex Mack, the center. 10-yard penalty.
Alex Max is your center right here. And the Rams are bringing pressure. You see the safety coming. You see Laurinaitis coming. They're trying to run a little double move out to Cribbs on the offensive right side. And that's a little stutter and go, trying to take advantage of man coverage. But because of the pressure, Colt just couldn't put it where he wanted it to be. Of course, the hold would have brought it back.
Seneca Wallace back in, down at the bottom as a receiver. Last time they did this, they did a reverse. Nothing here. They'll throw in the slot, and that's complete to Little lunging forward for some hustle yards there. Got about 3 more yards when he really had nothing.
You know, Ronnie, you'd say, okay, you bring Seneca Wallace in and then you just run him off. What good does that do? Well, here's what it does. Every time you bring Seneca Wallace in, you run a trick play. Then the defense says, oh, Seneca's in, let's just play soft. Here comes a trick play. So every once in a while, you got to do something like that. I think what they anticipated there was Seneca comes on the field. They say, okay, the Rams are going to go to this 2-deep zone, and there's going to be a little void in that hook area, and they took advantage of it. So it doesn't always have to be tricky to work.
Looking screen. Obanaya. He's got room. He's got the first and then some. Puts his head down and works close to the 50-yard line. They'll mark him out of bounds at about the 46.
To the West Coast offense, Ronnie, a screen is like a run. And when you can't run the football, you might as well screen it. You get it to your back out in the flat, you get him some open space, you get guys downfield in front of him blocking. If you talk to a guy like Andy Reid, who's been running the West Coast offense forever, he'll tell you that he considers screens to be runs. They're just extensions of his run game. So, hey, can't run the football? Let's try some screens.
17 yards on a 3rd and 10. Play action, looking for a crosser. Crosser's late, and at the last second, McCoy just throws it away. And they're going to give him credit for the throwaway, looks like.
That's a smart play. I mean, he avoids what would have been a 4-yard loss on a sack. He's outside the pocket. He throws it down the field. He showed some smarts right there.
Did he get it out in time?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to look pretty.
I mean, I don't like it as a defensive guy, but it was smart.
I didn't expect you to like it.
No, of course you didn't.
The Browns trying to get better in the third quarter, being outscored 32-9. Matching their first quarter struggles. Ogbonnaya to the 50. Chamberlain is there.
That was a little bit better by Ogbonnaya. I call that the little read option, and of course Colt McCoy is probably not going to pull that down, but he put his left foot in the ground and got up the field. This guy, you know, Ronnie, we were here a couple weeks ago when they played the Seahawks. It was one of these games similar to this game. Not a lot going on offensively. They were struggling to run the football, but what I kept commenting on was I appreciated the fact that they stuck with the run. And they're doing that right now. And you know what? It might pay off for them. I think the guy you want to watch right now, though, on 3rd and 6 is right there at the top, Josh Cribbs, who looks like he's in single coverage.
Ogbonnaya checks out. Clayton checks in. No place for McCoy. And a tackle. That'll be C.J. Aiyuk. And that'll bring up 4th down and time to punt.
This is a really good 4-man rush here. Just collapse the pocket. Yeah, I don't know about him stepping up in the pocket there. I don't feel like he felt C.J. Aiyuk on his right side. Maybe he needed to just hold in the pocket right there, set his feet, and then try to deliver the ball down the field. You don't realize how fast things happen down there. We got slow-mo there.
Technically not a sack. Maynard aiming for the out of bounds, and boy, he hit it. Looks to be close to the 5-yard line, and it is. Nice job. 44 yards killed inside the 10. And they say it comes down to athletes, right?
He's an athlete.
You know, sooner or later.
He's a gym rat. You like gym rats.
That's
guys
right.
that play hoops, that play football, that play a little baseball, maybe play a little lacrosse.
So the Rams go back to Jackson, and the Rams with some issues up front now. They've had the injuries there. Mark Lavore, who's a guard, moved over to the tackle spot with the injury to Saffold. Saffold was helped off the field, a head injury, and will not return.
When I was coaching, Ronnie, and we'd be in those draft meetings, you'd always ask the scouts, is the guy a gym rat? Does he just love ball? Well, there's no doubt that Sam Bradford, he just loves ball. It doesn't matter if it's round or oblong, he likes
Just
it.
play it.
And he likes it in his hand.
2nd and 5. So the Rams have pretty much said, we're going to put this thing on the ground like they've done in the past and put it on the shoulders of Jackson. Jabal Sheard is there for the tackle.
Good penetration on the left side here. You watch Sheard. So once again, you get them on a tight end. Okay, those big defensive ends, man, they get their hands on those tight ends. Tight ends just aren't physical enough to block them. You got to do it sometimes, all right, but it's tough sledding in there. I know this. If you're a tight end, you line up and you see Sheard, you go, oh, man, I got him again.
99 mark.
They better hurry up. And a burn timeout that could come back to haunt them.
St. Louis takes
Play
their
clock
first timeout.
low. They were going to get popped for too many seconds in the
This
huddle.
will be a 30-second timeout.
Hey, don't forget to get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL right now on your mobile phone. So 5:51 here in the third quarter, a 1-point game. The Rams with injuries throughout the defensive secondary. And now up front, we just talked about at the left tackle spot, Lavore checks in for Saffold.
Let's see if the Browns attack LeVore here. Try to take advantage of him being a backup.
The quick one. That's Pettis, and Pettis well short of the first down. Great pursuit by the Browns. Gokong is there first. That'll bring up 4th down.
And they brought pressure. You can see DeQuell Jackson here will come around the edge. He gets a shot on Bradford. Forces the punt.
So Donnie Jones will look to have a little bit of a wind at his back, but you can see by the flags on the top of the goalpost, it is swirling. Not a great one, but he gets a great roll. Cribbs will have to stay away from it, and look at that. You couldn't ask for much more. That ball rolls all the way down to the 23-yard line, a 60-yard punt. Joe Hayden shaken up a little bit. They are looking at his knee, but he appears to be okay. And you know, you're running with that guy all over the field. Your knees, ankles, and everything else are bound to start hurting.
That's been a fun matchup to watch. There's two really competitive, athletic guys that are going after each other in a lot of one-on-one battles.
A lot of bump and run, a lot of gunfighter play, as we used to say down there. The two people on that perimeter, the quick and the dead. 1st and 10, bootleg. Quick pressure and a nice hit there by Brady Popenga. You remember him, the former Green Bay Packer, putting it on Benjamin Watson.
Say that 3 times fast for me.
No, thank you. I'm just dealing with the Red River rivalry.
I like what Cleveland's doing right now. Ronnie, you know, we've said it and we've worn it out. They struggle to run the football. So we saw it a couple series ago, the screen play. Now we're seeing the bootleg play action things, getting Colt McCoy on the move. And those are the things they've got to do. They've got to be creative in trying to move the ball down the field.
3 yards on the pass play, end around Cribbs. Cribbs has some room. He'll take the first and then some. Cribbs all the way down to the 50, a late flag, but a nice run by Cribbs.
Yep, and there's your creative. You know, you're seeing things right now, Ron, that you typically don't see out of a West Coast offense. You're seeing this wildcat. You're seeing the reverse. You saw the throwback.
Holding offense, number 15. It's a 10-yard foul from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Going against Greg Little, and there's a Ram injured on the ground.
Here's Little. He's got a pretty good hold up there, Ronnie.
Darian Stewart, you can see he did.
He still got him.
Darian Stewart hustling down for the tackle. And Stewart is the guy down on the ground. While we're waiting here for Stewart, let's go out to Los Angeles real quick and get an update. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Falcons and Saints. Atlanta scored a touchdown to take the lead. New Orleans comes right back. Robert Meacham, 33-yard reception from Drew Brees. And New Orleans is back in the lead. Back and forth. The winner is in first place in the NFC South by themselves. 17-13. Right now, Saints up. Ron and Jim?
Boy, that's a hot one down there. Thank you very much, Kurt. And good news. Stewart up on his feet and off the field, but the nice run there by Cribbs, all wiped out with the hold by Little.
Let's see what else they got in their bag of tricks for Josh Cribbs, because they need a couple more things. He's the only guy that's really given any pop up the field.
Obanaya from the I formation, and Obanaya is out of the box. Across the 50, inside the 40, brought down at the 35. Popenga with the tackle, but chunks of yardage, 32 to be exact.
Well, that's what they needed. Just about doubled their total for the day on one run. Call that a little split belly or counter play back to the backside. It shows a little pop getting through there, Ronnie.
Just a little. Ogbonnaya, originally drafted by the Rams in the 7th round in 09. Pat Shurmur was on the Rams staff when they drafted him. He had familiarity with the kid, brought him in here. Comes up with a big play there. That one a little high, but look at that catch. Watson, and a first.
You got to have confidence in your receivers to make that throw, because he threw that one right into the middle of the traffic. Watson goes up high and makes a heck of a catch.
Boy, look at that dead area in between cover 2, right behind King and in front of Dahl.
You're getting all technical on me with the dead area.
I had to.
But that is,
because I knew you could handle it.
They call it the dead area. The area between the corner and the safety when you're playing a 2-deep zone. It's the dead area.
Back to the run, Ogbonnaya. Not much. Fred Robbins is there. No gain.
All right, Ronnie, you want with the dead area? Stop it right there. Oh, we didn't. Okay, it's a little too far. There's a dead area. I'm just going to draw it here. You got a corner there. You got a safety there. That's called the dead area, and that's where they threw it.
Yep.
It's like the Dead Sea. You used to slough back when you were playing corner, though. You need a corner to slough back and take care of that dead area.
No, I was supposed to be getting a jam, and if I didn't get the jam, I got cussed out by guys like you at safety.
You should have been cussed out.
Back to Ogbonnaya. He'll get it down to about the 11-yard line. Popenga is there.
McCoy, he just keeps kind of ticking, doesn't he? You know, we've seen this out of him before. He doesn't always start out pretty, but I think this will end up being his trademark in the league, as a guy that knows how to finish, a guy that somehow makes the throw when he needs it made, a guy who figures out how to win.
Gibbs is up top. Checked it down, Ogbonnaya. Ogbonnaya about 2 yards shy of the first down. Good open field tackle there by Craig Dahl.
Ryan, that's a great shot of McCoy. You see on the back of his jersey there, you see the green stains. That indicates a guy that's been knocked down a lot. And coming into this game, no one had been knocked with it right there. No one had been knocked down more than McCoy. But in this game, that hasn't been the case. Now, he's got the grass stains on his back. You don't ever get out of a game unscathed. But the offensive line against a pretty decent pass rush has done a nice job today.
Dawson going for 4 field goals. 27 yards out. The wind moves it, but it's already through the pipes. So the Browns not able to get the 6 in the red zone, but they do get 3, and they take the lead by 2. No third quarter touchdown all season long for the Browns. Thought maybe they were going to change that on that drive, but
not so fast, Ronnie. Not so fast. But you know what? They got the lead. They got a field goal in the lead.
And what a day by this man, number 4, Phil Dawson. 4 field goals made today, 44, 43, 32, 27. He's approaching his single game high of 6.
I'm not a guy who talks a lot about kickers.
Well, but you have to
unless
today.
I'm cussing at them. But Dawson and Maynard have both done a really good job for the Browns today, the punter and the kicker.
Third quarter winding down. Porter, short kick. Wynn held it up. He's got a lane. Nice tackle there by Screen. Well, this December, 2 of the most storied conferences in college football, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, will host their championship game. The Pac-12 championship game is Friday, December 2nd, and the Big Ten championship game is Saturday, December 3rd. Both games right here on Fox.
Boy, how about Oregon last night against Stanford?
Just pure talent.
Unbelievable
right? Speed and talent, like you said, yep.
The Browns could use some of that speed in their backfield today.
Joe Hayden back out there. He's at the bottom of your screen. My partner Jim Moyer talked about that matchup. Bump and run. He is not playing him from off. Boy, they've got 10 guys up on the line of scrimmage. Pressure's late. There's one free. A flag is out late as well. Ho-Ho Manau and Nui. He gets hit and he is hurt. Boy, he took it low on his knee. Joe Hayden clipped him.
I thought Papinga was a name I'd like to hear you say 3 times fast. Say that one 3 times. Say it 1 time.
I gave you the once, and if you didn't hear it, too bad. But more importantly, Hoho Manawanui, there's twice.
Holding.
He is
Defense, number
in
20.
pain.
Penalties declined. First down, St. Louis.
So tack on there, Mike Adams with the penalty. That's 15 yards on the reception.
Oh. Came down hard. It's a good young player here. Call him Illinois Mike. You hate to see a talented young guy. Oh, goodness sakes, I had to turn away.
Well, he almost got the knee up, but you could see at the last second there, Hayden got his helmet on it. And boy, that's your fear as a player.
Yeah.
That planted leg, and that's why they always teach guys, if you can, get that inside leg up whenever you're taking on a block or a tackle. Hoho Manawanui.
You know, I'll tell you this, though, Ronnie. I've seen a lot of knees, and sometimes the one that looks horrible doesn't end up being as bad as you think, and we can only hope for the best right here with Illinois Mike. You know, sometimes that ends up just being a PCL, but he's struggling here.
PCL, you're talking about the ligaments running down in and around the knee. They're bringing the card out. Oh, but Jim, once again, boy, the injuries for the Rams, and you never make excuses. And Steve Spagnuolo last night, he didn't even want to talk about the injuries, doesn't want to make excuses. No. That's the type of guy he is, and you respect that. But on both sides of the ball, and including today, we've had the injuries. And
well, it's affected this football team. And you're right, Ron. You don't want to make excuses, but there's a reality
to it. The end of the third quarter.
And that is the end of the third quarter. The Browns up by 2. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Back to our matchup. These guys went head-to-head many a time in college. Now they're doing it in the pros. And yardage-wise, completion-wise, fairly close. And the score is fairly close. Play action going up top. Bradford getting out of the pocket. A flag is down. He's out of the tackle box, gets that ball beyond the line of scrimmage. So there won't be an intentional grounding. Let's check the flag at the line of scrimmage.
Tripping. Offense, number 73. It's a 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Adam Goldberg.
You're playing with both backup tackles now, and you watch Goldberg there, but also watch the 4 at the top get beat inside quick. Oh,
well, I don't know.
No, run that back. That was a trip.
Oh, that was the old Barney
Watch
Fife
it right
kind
there. Yeah. Oops, I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry, did I trip you?
Yeah. Not legal.
Back on 10, first and 20. Jackson, no place to go. All in all, how would you assess the Browns' play against the run?
You know what? Better than last week, but not great. You know, too many big runs, too many gashes up the middle. You know, but coming off of what they suffered last week, you know, it is an improvement. I like the way they hustle to the football. I like the way they tackle. I like their linebackers being aggressive at the football, creating turnovers. This is a good defensive football team. They're facing a really good runner today. So I think they're getting better.
8 men in the box. They get a pass instead. The deep comeback, it's not there. Intended for Lloyd. Lloyd is saying, hey, give me a little contact. But Joe Hayden, we keep talking about that matchup, Jimmy, and it keeps coming to fruition.
It's really fun to watch two good players. Watch the pressure here up the middle. Okay, so that moves Bradford off his spot. He's a little bit late with this throw, and then watch Hayden with the bail technique. Snaps his eyes around, reads Lloyd's lower body.
Oh,
you know what? That's okay. You get to look at Shermer. He says he didn't see the hold. Come on, Ronnie, you're an old DB. You know those tricks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That worked that time.
Well, Joe Hayden is something else, man. He's a competitor.
Well, here's the matchup down here again.
We're going to get popped. The play clock has expired, long expired.
Delay a game.
See,
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Out to Los Angeles for an update. Kurt Menefee.
Steelers retake the lead against Cincinnati. Rashard Mendenhall, his second touchdown run of the day. Fights his way in from 9 yards out. It's 24-17. Steelers on top in the fourth quarter. And Jim, yeah, Ron's an old DB, but you're an old DB coach. You're supposed to take his side.
3rd and 20. They'll give it to Jackson and say ad lib. Not with all the brown helmets around. Gokong is there first. Boy, Gokong has had a heck of a game. He's got a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Made a lot of tackles.
He's all over the place, but really a bad series for St. Louis when they couldn't afford to have a bad series. They get the tripping call that backs them up, and then they get the delay of game, and I'm sure they didn't call the timeout there because they've already wasted a timeout because they were about to have a delay of game, and they can't, a close game like this, you can't go into the fourth quarter with one timeout, so not a good series.
And you know, that kick is out of bounds short, but not all bad when you don't kick to Josh Cribbs, because he can turn the game in a heartbeat. 2-point game. Browns up, starting the fourth.
I think I hung out with that guy in the dog pound, Ronnie. You know what? That's the guy that gave you the bone right there.
Was that the guy?
You might have to go say thank you to him after the game.
I owe him. I owe him everything. 4 field goals by Phil Dawson. He's been the difference here for the Browns. They're not able to get a whole lot going on in the passing game. One big play, a 50-some yarder to Little down the middle of the field. It only turned into 3 points.
Ronnie, one of the differences I think today for the Cleveland offense is evident. 14 plays of 20-plus yards coming into this game, which was the fewest in the league. The Raiders had over 50. Today they've got 5, so they're taking some more shots down the field. You saw Abanayu break that run off a little bit earlier. So it looks like they're being a little bit more explosive in their attitude today.
Timeout called by the Browns.
Timeout Cleveland. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, Fox tomorrow, television's biggest adventure is all new. Loyalties are put to the test when a son must choose between betraying his family and saving the girl he left behind. Don't miss a thrilling all-new Terra Nova tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
That's a tough choice. That kid's got a tough choice on Terra Nova. What would you do?
Well, if you saw the girl, you'd know just how tough it is. 2nd down and 6.
The wind's swirling, Ronnie. The wind is picking up here at Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Play action. Looking for Cribbs. It wasn't there. And down goes McCoy. Chris Long.
This is great. Watch Chris Long. First of all, he's in the 4-point. Great job. You know what he is? He's a worker when he rushes the passer. But what I love is right there, stop. Go back a little bit. Can you go back just a little bit for me? Right there. The first thing he does is he looks to the sideline to find out where the line of scrimmage is, to find out if this is a sack or not. He wants a sack.
It is a sack.
They're always aware of their stats now.
Hard.
McCoy in trouble. Laurinaitis chasing. Laurinaitis has him, and he goes down. 2nd sack in a row by the Rams on McCoy, and they'll have to punt it away. So the former Ohio State Buckeye making a big play here in the 4th quarter.
Right in the middle there, fighting off the block, working to the outside. And McCoy should have gotten rid of the football right there. Not that it's a big deal, 5 or 6 yard difference. But when you've just been beat down and beat up the way he has, throw the ball throw the ball and eliminate getting hit again.
Second sack of the season, only the 7th of his career for Laurinaitis. A flag is down. That ball hit the ground. Pettis struggling with the wind. Clete Blakeman and the crew talking it over.
There is no foul on the play for holding. The ball was caught, therefore it was dead at the time. First down, Cleveland. Excuse me, St. Louis.
This guy right here, does he look like a football player? If you look at him straight on, that neck is like that.
Inverted.
It is.
Pressure on the guy he played against twice in college. Steve Spagnuolo on the left and Pat Shurmur on the right, former, how would you say, teammates, I guess, coaching mates.
Coaching
on the
buddies.
same team last year with the Rams, now going head to head. Jackson. Well, they've clamped down on Jackson here in the 3rd and 4th quarter. That's Usama Young there on the tackle. And the two really come from quite a coaching tree, so to speak.
They do. What's fun about these two guys going against each other is they used to battle it out in practice all the time. And so they know each other's tendencies.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah, and so there's even a little bit more of that cat and mouse game that you typically get.
2nd and 7 for Bradford and the Rams. Going up deep, it's well covered. Boy, Bradford took a shot and Joe Hayden is all over Lloyd. Philip Taylor put the hit on Bradford.
Watch Taylor here. Nice rush up the middle. Oh, man. That's 335 coming down on you. He had 330 with Rubin coming down on the ankle. And right there he's got 335 with Taylor coming down on the chest. You think playing quarterback in the NFL is fun and easy? It's not.
Pick number 21 overall this year. Rams looking at 37.
Let's go.
Looking for Lloyd on the turnaround, nearly picked off. Hayden should have had it. But that brings up 4th, too many yards for the first, and they'll punt it away.
Ronnie, you know what I'm seeing here? We're seeing protection issues right now showing up for the Rams. They're struggling even to protect against the simple 4-man rush. Yeah, and the Browns are running some stunts and some twists in there, but nothing that's elaborate that they shouldn't be able to pick up. But they're decimated out at tackle. They're struggling inside, and it's hurting Bradford. They need to get back to running Steven Jackson.
Cribbs with a chance. Ball is loose. Looks like the Rams recover. It is Rams ball. David Nixon popped it out. And that's a huge play with 10:39 here in the 4th quarter. And there's a look at Nixon. Cribbs trying to make a little something out of what's not there, and you see right there on that last cut. And Lieber jumps on it for the recovery.
Yeah, it's not like Cribbs wasn't securing that football. He had it tucked in there pretty well. Nixon just makes a heck of a play.
Boy, in a game like this, Jimmy, you've seen a lot of these. This is the type of play that changes the game. Now, all of a sudden, the Rams go from what looked like another dismal performance there in series. They've got the ball approaching the red zone. That's Jackson. He meets DeQuell Jackson along with Stevens. Here's another look at the fumble.
Cribbs, he's not careless with the football. He's just struggling to get yards. And, you know, when you're 3-5 and when you're the guy that everyone's dependent on to make a play, you're going to fight for those extra yards. And sometimes when you fight for the extra yards, those things happen, and they can be a killer. The only good news is that Cleveland has been a pretty salty defense in the red zone this year.
Jackson getting outside. Can't quite turn the corner, but he does move the chains. That's a first down as Mike Adam brings him down. The Rams trying to ride with a little momentum, ride that momentum wave that they got against the Saints. Unfortunately, they lost some of that momentum last week out in Arizona.
Well, they played well. They just gave up, they had the field goal block to win it in regulation. Then they give up the long punt return to lose it in overtime. I like what they're doing right now, though, and that's giving it to number 39.
That time he stopped by Fajita, but the carry before, Jackson goes over the 100-yard mark, the 30th career 100-yard rushing game for Steven Jackson, the 3rd this season, and all of them coming in the last 3 games. As we mentioned earlier, he has picked it up in the last 2 games, coming into today with 144 yards on average.
You go play action pass right here, fake it to him, drop back, and throw the ball down the field.
That one sails outside. Didn't have a lot of heat on it, but it got to Billy Bajema. Bajema about 2 or 3 yards shy of the first. And talk about elite company for Steven Jackson from 2004 to the present. He is the Rams' all-time leading rusher around some pretty darn good company.
Well, I think there's a couple Hall of Famers there and probably one
you think?
future. Yeah, Steven Jackson has just been remarkably consistent throughout his entire career. And when healthy, he's as good as they get in this league. Let's watch the matchup. Hayden and Lloyd up there again. There's pressure.
And the pressure got him. Philip Taylor. He started off hot. They thought around here that they maybe hit the rookie wall, but doesn't look like it today.
You see what they do, Ron, is they walk the 2 linebackers up in here to occupy the guards. Guard steps down inside. Taylor comes around for the sack. Nice job in the red zone once again by this Cleveland defense.
So the Rams settle for the field goal. This will be Brown, 34 yards out. Puts it up. No flags are down. It's clean. So after the fumble by Josh Cribbs, the Rams take the lead. No block field goal here. Everything's clean. We've got a good one.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Talk about things you don't see very often. That last fumble by Cribbs, only his 2nd career fumble. We're talking 101 games.
Well, maybe the problem is he has socks on his arms there.
I don't know, but
I'll explain that in a minute.
You'll explain that.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, that'll help the Browns. That ball out of bounds at the 2. They'll march it off and get pretty good field position.
Free kick, out of bounds, kicking team. It'll be Cleveland's ball to 40-yard line, 1st down.
Josh Brown saying, so 1-point game here in Cleveland.
I was talking about the socks on the arms. See what Josh Cribbs does, he cuts his socks off and he puts them on his arms. Because those, if you look at the socks right there, it's the same thing that he's got him on his arms. I wonder if the league will fine him for that.
Only a former coach could pick that one. And Little picks this one up, and that's a 1st down. He's working on Josh Gordy. Gordy subbing in with the injury to Al Harris earlier in the game. That's a pickup of 11.
And Greg Little doesn't have the socks on the arm, as you'll notice there.
But I'll tell you what he
See right
does
there,
have.
that's the socks on the arm.
Came into today's game with the 2nd most catches for a rookie wide receiver. At 31, that's next to A.J. Green from Cincinnati. The end around, Little. Now he'll do it on the ground game. Takes a hit, but he's got another 1st down as he jumps across the 40-yard line of the Rams.
More trickery today, Ronnie, out of West Coast offense than I think I've ever seen. And you know what? You have to commend Pat Shurmur and this offensive staff are getting tricky because they've struggled to move the football. When you're struggling to move the football, you got to come up with some answers for your players, or they look at you like, hey, coach, what do you got for me? Well, today, they've come up with some creative things that help them move the ball down the field. It's fun to see.
Empty backfield set. Rams will bring pressure, forcing a quick throw. Somehow, McCoy got away from that. An attempt on the horse collar there. That ball complete to Alex Smith. And let's check the flag.
Defense, number 98. A penalty be assessed 15 yards from the end of the run. First down, Cleveland.
Need to see that, Ron. Yeah. I understand the spirit of the rule here, but, well, he grabs him, but, you know, to be honest with you, I'd need a little Mike Pereira action to find out if you have to bring him to the ground to actually make it a horse collar. But he definitely
does
reaches
have
inside
it there. Doesn't make the tackle.
How about
on
the strength of Colt McCoy, though, to pull through that? Now, that's impressive.
And, you know, McCoy is a lot better out of the pocket, moving his feet, a lot more athletic than I think people want to give him credit for in college.
I totally agree. You know, in college, he shot back there in the shotgun, and he took a little drop and threw it down the field. But he's a mobile quarterback.
On the right side for a few. That's Ogbonnaya. And this is the area of the game where the Rams kind of fell apart last week out in Arizona.
Talk about the strength. Fred Robbins right there, Ronnie, is listed at 325, which means he could go anywhere from 315 to 350, as you know how they do it in this league. But the strength that Colt McCoy showed there to get out of that and still be able to deliver the ball downfield, pretty darn impressive.
Second down and 7, ball on the ground. Ogbonnaya will be about a yard shy of the first. He had a big hole. Laurinaitis saved the first down and even more yardage.
Well, Ronnie, we have the luxury of being able to go to one of the gurus of rules, Mike Pereira, and we just hit him, and he confirmed with us that the runner does not have to go to the ground for it to be a horse collar. So that was, once again, a very good call by the officials.
And Ogbonnaya with a career high 17 rushes, 88 yards. You know, a former college teammate at Texas of Colt McCoy, so a little more familiarity, a little more comfort in the backfield for McCoy, and they switch it up. Owen Marisic, the rookie out of Stanford, the 4th round pick. He does his Peyton Hillis impression, lowers his shoulder and moves the chain.
Good hard running, because it looked like he was stopped, and he just kept digging and kept digging and kept digging and showed some tenacity, and he was relentless in there, and he gets the first down. Now we got the ball, first and goal on the 9. We haven't been able to capitalize all day. If we're the Cleveland Browns, what do we do now? I'm going to say this. I'm taking a shot to the end zone right now off of play action. Oh, I'm wrong.
Nope. They go with Ogbonnaya. Maybe they should have. He gets stacked up. Michael is in the backfield along with Poppinga. That's a loss of 1.
Here's the issue that I have with that play is that they came up in an unbalanced look, and so they put Watson on the weak side. And then, you know, when a defense, you know, sometimes offensive coaches think defensive coaches are stupid, that we just run around in a gray sweatshirt with a whistle around our neck. Okay, we're pretty smart too. Okay, maybe I'm not, but some of them are. When you see that unbalanced look, typically you shift your defensive line over there. They did it. They ran it right into the teeth of it, and they've got no gain. Now they've got actually lost a few inches. They got second down and 9.
McCoy better hurry up. Play clock at 1. Ball is fumbled. Still loose. Alex Smith fumbled the ball, and the Browns get lucky, get the ball back. Boy, he fumbled that ball right into the teeth of the defense. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Ruling on the field is that Cleveland recovered the fumble. It'll be 3rd down.
Josh
Timeout,
Scribbs
St. Louis. This is our
recovers.
second timeout.
Smith is a tight end.
There's your issue right there, okay? Once again, look, I like Pat Shurmur. I think he's fantastic as a play caller and a great coach. But don't give the football to your tight end, okay, in a critical situation, in a game like this that you got to win to get to 4 and 5, don't give the ball to the tight end on a handoff. If you want to give him the ball, throw it to him. That's what he does. He runs routes, he catches the ball. Running backs takes handoff, and they run the football. So, hey, Pat, love him. Creative. Done some great things offensively today, utilizing Cribbs, utilizing Seneca, but handing the ball off to your tight end in the red zone when you're down 1 in a close game, don't like it one single bit, not afraid to say it.
That was Smith's first career handoff, but it didn't go well.
Mike Holmgren didn't like it either, I can promise you that.
3rd and goal, cut back. Obadiah inside the 5. And the Bluebirds come out here in Cleveland down by 1, 2:40 and counting. A timeout taken on the previous play by the Rams.
Well, good thing here for Cleveland is they run the football, they burn the clock. If you remember back, Ronnie, and they've only got 1 left now, you remember back in the 3rd quarter when the Rams were backed up in a critical situation, they had to burn a timeout so that they didn't take the 5-yard delay of game penalty. Those things come back to bite you. And it could be a situation here now where they only have 1 timeout, down by 2, 2 minutes left in the game against a really good defense in Cleveland.
Takes their
A timeout by Cleveland. Now each team with 1. And Cleveland brings on the guy who's been great today with 4 field goals, now going for number 5. Phil Dawson actually sent home on Wednesday with a severe migraine. They weren't even sure if he was going to be able to play, but boy, has he played.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't have strep throat, huh? Oh, that's a little shot.
Might have been out for a while, but you got to like the game that really both quarterbacks have played, in particular.
I like it.
McCoy showing the strength, showing the ability to ad-lib. Really, a lot of people will say this is really his rookie year. He's a second-year guy, but this really is his rookie year.
This is his 17th start. These are 2 teams that are going to be good in the future. This is a good football game. I don't care if it's 1 and 7 and 3 and 5. You're seeing some good football today.
22 yards out should be a chip shot. You never say that football.
Yeah, don't say that.
There you go. Ball rolled back, and there it is. The bad luck snake somehow comes up, and Pat Shurmur's look says it all. The impossible happened. With 2:10 to play, the snap is rolled back, and that was the beginning of all drama. Ball is down, though. I think Dawson got distracted. The ball is down.
You know, that's supposed to be automatic, and sometimes it's not. And kickers get so locked in that when they see the bad snap, when things aren't perfect with them, sometimes they can't get themselves readjusted quick enough to make that adjustment they need to make, and that was certainly the case there. But that is not on the kicker. That one's on the snapper all the way. Holder did a nice job of getting the ball down.
Ryan Pontbriand, the long snapper. He rolls that one back, and it just spelled disaster. So the Rams now with 2 minutes left, and the 2-minute warning, holding on to a 1-point lead.
Here's your snapper, Ryan Pontbriand, and here's who was playing left guard, Alex Mack. We'll come back and show you here in a minute what happened.
Yeah, Pontbriand had a little help with that miscommunication and mishold there on the snap. And that's a first down by the Rams under 2 minutes. Here it is again.
Here's Mack, 55, and here's your snapper, Pontbriand. Watch Mack here on the snapper just prior to move his right leg, and he actually tips the ball, and that's why it's a bad snap. When you look at that shot of Pontbriand on the sideline, I don't think he knows yet that Alex Mack actually deflected. You don't look right there. He's not sleeping, guys. Okay, or he's not. I promise he's not sleeping. But you know, you interlock your legs like that because you've got to protect those 2 gaps on either side of your center, because that's where people are going to try to attack on field goals. We call them the A gaps, the gap between the guard and the center. So you interlock your legs to try to make that gap small. Unfortunately, Mack just stepped in there a little bit too hard, a little bit too far, a little bit too early, and now we got a situation where we're flopping it for the Rams.
Last timeout called by the Browns the play before. They cannot stop it. We're under 2 minutes, and the clock will roll.
You know, you're looking at Colt McCoy there. Saw some really good things out of Colt McCoy. 20 for 27, 218 yards. Didn't throw a touchdown pass, but didn't have an interception. Did a great job showing mobility in the pocket, Ronnie. You know, I know that the Browns are disappointed. Their fans are disappointed sitting here at 3-6. But in my humble opinion, this is a football team that is going to develop into a very competitive and good football team if they just stick with what they're doing. They've got a good coach right there in Pat Shurmur. They've got some good young talent. They've got an excellent president, Mike Holmgren, who's not used to losing. There's good things on the horizon for both of these football teams.
And for the Rams, well, the scene shifts because it was them last week that had the 2 late special teams miscues, the blocked field goal, and then the 99-yard punt return for a touchdown by Patrick Peterson that did them in for the loss. So
well, this is the third, you know, Ryan, this is the third good performance by the Rams as a football team. Now, they didn't win last week, as you said, because of that blocked field goal and that punt return, but they performed well. So they're on the upswing. And Steve Spagnuolo, they start out, you know, horribly. They got a tough schedule. They've got a ton of injuries, but they've showed some resilience, and they're sticking with it, and they're doing what they believe in, and their players are believing. We talked to them last night. They said, hey, we believe in what we're doing, and it's starting to work out for them here.
And that's the final. Boy, football is a strange game. You never know how it's going to end, and there are no such things as easy ones. That's the final here. Let's go.